What do you think, Brendan? Should we show off cue grouping with a big opening animation?
Sure.
Okay, let's reload into the backstage area. I just want to say the most powerful thing that you can do with these cues is to put them together into cue groups or cue chains. So basically, we can only fit, if you look on my split screen, you can only fit about like 15 or 16 buttons on the panel. But actually for NPC, I was in the 200 range for the actual amount of cues that I was building. So you can attach as many as you want to one button, and it allowed us to do some really powerful things. So I'm just going to take us through the opening animation of the whole experience, which shows what cue grouping can do. Brendan, are you ready?
I am ready. Will you talk us through what's happening within the group, kind of like a commentary track while we go through it?
Yeah, so we've, when you load into our first scene, you're in this kind of little backstage area that Brendan put together. So we're going to, the first cue that I'm gonna do preloads all of the objects that we need for the opening animation. It puts our audience members and performers in their proper avatars and in their starting positions, including rotating the audience so that they're facing straight down onto the world, and also really far away. And then also on each individual client spawns in a omni volumetric capture object that makes it so they're sitting in there. It also, there's so many things that happen in this opening cue. It also makes it so that the audience cannot move. So Brendan, make sure you don't, you can look, just don't rotate at all.
Cool.
Awesome. So here is cue group, the first, it's actually a group 2, but our first group. Awesome.
If I was in headset, I could freely look around, but I can't actually move with my controllers so that we walk the audience into their chair in the theater. We've now seen the edge of the theater spawned in front of me, but if I was in headset, I could turn and look around and there's chairs behind me. I could see my fellow participants sitting next to me in the chairs, and then
Brendan,
looking straight ahead.
If you want to show my screen as well, I'm, as stage manager, can see the regular orientation. There is the world far down below us, and here is the omni volumetric capture with Brendan tilted 90 degrees facing straight down. And you can also see the hero avatar is way down there in its starting place, and it's really big, and we'll see why in just a sec. But this shows kind of this orientation trick that makes it look like you're facing forward, but as we see in the opening animation, you're actually tilted facing straight down.
The audience thinks they're in a theater looking at a screen, but they're actually perpendicular to a 3D world.
Now I'm going to cue a nice little moment of Brendan animating into the world. He's kind of tilted to the side right now, so maybe I don't think that actually works. Anyway, he's looking over to the side for some reason. In headsets, this is, come on. Are you able to see him, Brendan?
Yeah, but you broke his neck, I think, by looking around.
Oh gosh. Well, it's okay. Yeah. And then the next cue group I'm gonna show is us animating down into the world while Brendan's avatar tracks with us, and each of the 4 participant avatars animate down in at an equal configuration to the Omni Theater. And as we move through the world, the rotation goes back to not perpendicular, but upright again.
I hear you through hubs, but not through the stream. There's a lot of static. Yeah, there's something weird happening with your audio. Ah, cool. No worries. But so basically, we've now gone through an entire um, animation track of taking us through space, of moving us while we had the local theater object, so that way it just tracked with what my computer was seeing, and everybody had their own little theater, so that way it wasn't lagging and glitching. So we had this kind of smooth journey of basically the local theater and my local avatar moving through this animated path and coming around to land in this position of the world.
Awesome. So yeah, like Brendan was saying, it's super. The reason that the lip of the theater stuck with us really nicely was because we were using a locally loaded, I guess, object for that. Let me go back to the queuing menu. I guess what I'll say real quickly about grouping and chaining cues is that sometimes you might want to chain cues together, which is immediately after one finishes, the next one starts playing. Right now, we are really cheating in how we're actually making that happen, which is I am manually putting the delay for the second cue equal to the duration of the first cue. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if the total runtime of Q1's action, including all of its animations, if the total runtime added together is 60 seconds, then I will put the delay on the cue that I want to happen immediately after it at 60 seconds.
Cool.
So if we animate through space and then an apple appears in front of us, once we're done with that animation, then I'll put a 60-second animation through the space, and then the delay for the apple spawning is 60 seconds. So it's a very cheater way of putting together these chains of cues. But in the future, we are going to have more programmatic when an animation ends, an on-end trigger for another cue. Yeah. Sweet. So I think that covers chaining and grouping cues.